Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to do prompts 1, 2 and 3 from the spread that I've created. So I've put my piece of paper down on the floor and I'm going to put my spread around it. So if this works, we are now on a blanket on the floor. So it's probably going to be a little bit out of focus for the best part, but hopefully I'll be able to talk you through everything. Now, before I get going, let me just show you what we have for tools. Okay, so I have some incense burning, I have candles and oil with some moon water, and I have 3 piles of decks to do prompts 1, 2 and 3, plus some affirmation cards. We have a bell to clear the energy, and I have my prompts there, and of course, pumpkin spice brew is actually what's going on in there. And we have one other set of tools here. I also have some of my old journals. This is where they come in really handy. So there are prompts in these journals. I have one called the Creative Witch Spread, and I think that this one, which is from the Embroidered Forest on her Instagram page, this one will be useful for one of the creative prompts I have. There are some prompts in here that I thought could also be used. 3 of Cups spread for kind of being friendly. We have the Trickster spread for maybe, what's causing problems. I have the Soul Path spread, which is one by MadWitch, which is one of the ones that actually inspired all of this right at the very start, because she's created this one and she had some amazing decks that she picked out to do this with, like lots of decks. And this is where I got inspired to pull my decks out and play. And I thought this one could even be, because it's the Soul Path spread, this could be the energy coming in spread. So if you wanted to do the energy coming in, this is a spread from her channel that she's shared, and I've done a VR to it as well. If I remember, I'll link it below. This could be the spread you choose to do as prompt 1. So you could either do a 1-card pull for prompt 1, 3-card pull intuitive read, or a positional spread for prompt 1. There is no kind of rules here, and this is what I'm talking about, using your decks and playing with them, because this spread uses multiple decks on its own. So I think that could be a really good fun thing to do. And then in my other books, I noticed that I have some other wonderful spreads. There's a 3-point spread in here, but plenty that I can probably utilise. There's some really good Simple Sunday spreads in here. We've got connections ones, ancestral ones. Yeah, so I just thought there's bound to be something else I can pull out from one of these books that will fit a prompt that I've got going on, if I want more than, a couple of cards. So I'm quite happy. I'm delving back into these where I've got some gorgeous spreads going on and I can reuse them. September spread, there was a really good one in here. There's a good Simple Sunday spread. What will manifest for me? What will fade? What will grow? What will shine? That could be a really good one for the first prompt that we're going to do today. What we got there? These ones got swear words in, so I'll do. How can I create space for compassion? So forgiveness, embrace, inspire. Another good Simple Sunday spread. What the actual F spread? There's one there. I was in a bad mood that day. So yeah, I have found that I've got some really good spreads within these books that I could use. I've got a past lives spread, modified Celtic cross. So collecting these as I've been going through. Loving you spread. So there's a good one for, what can you do to bring happiness into your life? Saturday wisdom. Yeah, so I've got some inspiration looking in these books that I will use. So let's get down to it. Right, I have my 3 decks that I've already discussed previously. That's what I'll be using for prompt 1. Prompt 1 is, I think that's in view, front door. What is the energy coming in for autumn and winter months? And then my journaling prompt to go with this is, how can I then work with this energy to my advantage and gain? Now, I did the pre-spread, but I hadn't set my intentions. I've now set my intentions and I'm going to do this, and I have changed my mind. I'm going to use MadWitch's spread for prompt 1. So my what energy is coming in for autumn, winter months, I'm going to use the Soul Path spread and see what it gives me, because why not? This is what it's about. We'll have fun. And in the Soul Path spread, we have, where am I currently on my soul path? And we have 2-part question, and we have an oracle. So where am I currently on my soul path for the energy that's coming in for autumn, winter? So we'll do, where am I currently on my soul path for the energy coming in for autumn, winter? That's interesting. We've got the Empress again, which came out in my preliminary spread. So we're here on my spread. So I'm going to put that one there, because I think that will then allow you to see the whole spread. We have a 2. How do I unlock the door to my spiritual growth? The energy coming in for autumn, winter. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm adding to my question. We have the 9 of Wands. Sorry, you probably want to see that as well. Beautiful card. 9 of Wands. And then number 3 is, what lesson have I learnt recently that has helped my soul path journey for the energies that are coming in for autumn, winter? So what lessons have I learnt recently that have helped my soul path journey for the energies coming in for autumn, winter? And I have the Hierophant. Well, there's a direct answer if ever there was one. Lessons. So they are almost on screen. Perhaps I need to, sorry. Do I need to just do that so you can see them? I'm sorry if you get to see my slippers, they're not in the best of states, but you might just. Okay, and then we have the second parts to the questions that go with this. So my shadow self for where I'm currently on my soul path for the energies that are coming in. So let's just find out where the shadow self is. I think this I really like this thread that SOTW Mabon has created, hence the reason why I'm using it. So we have strength. Wow, those two were in my first spread. I knew there was a reason that they'd come out. So with the second prompt there, we're now looking for what's lurking in the shadows that's going to hinder me. I have justice. Yep. And then for number 3, what lessons do I need to learn? With the Hierophant for the energies that's coming in. There's 3 cards. So we've got one, the Hanged Man. This is rather interesting. They're all coming out. The Hierophant is back out twice. Knight of Wands. Okay, this one's going to take me a little while to figure out because this spread is actually quite deep. And then we have an oracle to go with each. This is really just the voice for each part. We have root vegetables, falling leaves. That's that one that wants. No, it's that one that wants to be touched. Whiskey. Okay, there we are. There's part 1, prompt 1 of the spread. That will need to be journaled as well into my. I'm going to take a picture. So that's, and I'm also going to take a picture of this. So I've got the spread to put next to it. Prompt number 2. So prompt number 2 is our magpie one for sorrow. So what is causing me unnecessary woes? And here's my magpie. So it's the next one. It's going to go over there. So I'm going to have to move around, aren't I? So what is causing unnecessary woes? With the magpie, after I've got my cards, I then want to create a positive affirmation to disperse my worries, or craft a dream catcher to keep them at bay. Or you can draw a dream catcher and capture worries in your dream catcher with actual words. That's probably a really nice thing to do. Right, let me get my cards. Right, so I've got my 4 decks, 2 Tarot Vampires, 1 Vampire's Oracle, and 1 Journey of a Lonely Souls Oracle. So we're going to start with this one. This is a 4-card intuitive spread for this prompt. So what is causing me unnecessary woes? So 7 of Grails. I'm going to use this one. Queen of Cups. The Vampires. So I have to flow on them sometimes to make them move. It's this one. The Call of the Night, Daring Adventure and Excitement. That one goes there. So you can see why this would be fun to get all 13 prompts down, but you're going to need a lot of space. So that's why I think I'm doing it this way. And then we're going to use this one for the fourth space on the prompt. Oops, there we go. Imposing impediment. To ignore the warning of your heart will cause suffering. What alternative should I consider? So what alternative should I consider? With Daring Adventure, Excitement, 7 of Grails, Decisions, Queen of Cups, Intuition, what's causing me woes? So decisions. So let's get a picture of that spread. And let's get the next set of cards out. Before I do that, I need an affirmation for my woes. So I'm going to use the Amanda Clark Earth Angels. Give me an affirmation for, positive affirmation for my woes, please, to help correct them. Ooh. Too many, so I'm going to take the 2 that fell out over there. So we've got deserve and friendship. Laugh away my troubles, I deserve love and happiness. Actually, they're really great ones because we all need some of that in our lives. Well, there's my affirmations. Let's just redo that photo. Okay, next set. Right, now we're going to put you on pause. Okay, so we're on to prompt number 3. And we are woodshed. What dead wood needs to be cut loose? And then write a release letter to burn at the next full moon, including what you want to welcome in its place. So, my dead woodshed is here on the spread, for those who want to colour in. Of course, print this out and colour in. This is me printing out. This is what it looks like. I'm sorry it's come out this colour. It's because it was a white piece of paper that I had drawn on, took a photo, and I don't know why I couldn't get rid of the colouring that it's chosen to come through and be depicted as. But let's go. So, what dead wood needs to be cut loose in my life? Oh, I'm just curious. We got 9 of Cups. Dreams, I suppose. Dreams that don't lead anywhere. Or, the perpetual dreamer. Now I'm going to use the Archeo Oracle for a card to go with this. Haven't used these ones yet, so we'll see what we get with this. I saw somebody using them on YouTube and the card was really spoke to me. So we've got Jester. And then for what can I replace it with? I thought we would try these. So Fated Pocket Love Oracle, just to see if there was something that I can... So it's a deck of 13 cards from Athena Kana. These are her indie version. I believe I don't know if these are mass market yet, actually. I know the other decks first have gone mass market. I don't know if these have made it yet, but let's just see what this is. Bring me to bring in for the new moon, for the full moon release. Full moon for me is next week, so this will allow me time to craft. Okay, so it's that one. This one wants to be touched. Romantic connections. Okay, just need to bring a bit more kind of love and I suppose kindred relationship back in. Because when we get a bit stressed, things go awry. We don't give them the attention that they deserve. So just out of curiosity, let's see what the book says here. That one, isn't it? Romantic connection. One of the most favourable for a good romantic relationship outcome exists between you and the intangible. Something that is encouragement to explore more romance in an existing relationship. Don't let it fade away with time. No. Okay. Sounds like some sound advice. And isn't that interesting? So for what's causing me woes over there, the advice there was, love, laughter, happiness type of things, like laughing away your woes, laughter and happiness. And then we've got bringing in more love here. So I think what's happening with this spread is when I overthink things, when I think, I get worried as an air sign, so I will overthink stuff. I will be the 8 of Swords. I will be the 9 of Swords. I am that person. Although I joke about being the Queen of Swords, because that's how most people, I think, generally see me, but I do live most of my life in the 8 of Swords, 9 of Swords, which is a place that nobody really understands, which is why you all struggle so much, I think, with swords suit, but those are my decans. So I do live there most of my life. And what I'm seeing here with the emotional stuff, the emotional struggles, the lessons, the harshness of the spread, is that's where I am probably stuck at the moment, is in those emotions, those overthoughts, that loops of overthinking, getting stuck going round and round, that wishful thinking, being a dreamer, and not actually being able to put things into practicality or bring it out of the because feelings are kind of realms where you can't always touch. They're not tangible, they're not pentacles, they're not suits, they're not earthy, so for me they're like this wishy-washy world, whereas thoughts to me are knowledge, power, processing. They bring sharing, they growth, they enhance us, whereas I often find feelings can just be a really annoying part of life. So I'm kind of getting this weird intuitive hit here that I know full well that I take things very deeply. When I say something and somebody thinks I've offended them, and I never had the intentions to offend them, but perhaps I've used juvenile language without realising, or language barriers, meaning that words mean different things when we talk to each other or we communicate. If somebody comes back at me harshly rather than just, hey, I don't know if you meant to say that, but here's how I understood it. And then the open conversation, be able to correct things. That's when I get tied up in knots, and I'll overthink and I'll rehash and go through and try and correct my own behaviour, really. But I notice that the other people never do. they never correct their own behaviour. They just carry on through life like they've got the right to tell people where they go wrong, but never taking their own advice. It's really interesting. I don't think I've explained that very well. In fact, I probably just got myself into a whole heap of trouble doing that. Right, next bit I will show you is how I'm going to journal all this, because it might not be what you're expecting. Or it might be, I might have already given it away. Okay, so I will see you back at the table. Okay, you may have guessed it. I'm going to be doing this via my digital journal to try and get me inspired and using such things. And to build up my skills, really. So I am using one of the digital journals from Amethyst Ascensions page. I showed this last month in my journaling. Why's that dark? 1 second. I showed it last month in my journaling video to give you an idea of what's going on. I think that might be a bit better for you. And I had only done like those 2 pages there. So front page for August, and then tracked things, YouTube, books, telly. And now I'm going to attempt to make it something more. So you're kind of getting a peek of what's coming, because I was going to show this anyway at the end of the month. But here we are. So I had a page for September. These are just pictures downloaded from the Pixabay on here, Pixabay images. So they're kind of free ones that come with the app. So I put them in. So here we have September, my header page. Yes, I've got the same thing, books, YouTube, and on the box. We're not here to talk about that. And then I have inserted these documents as screenshots. So they're like pictures basically sat in there on my September. And I don't know, but I might complete this by the end of October. So this might have to be September, October digital journal. And we are here. So I don't think this is going to be too much of an issue if I do it this way. I think then you just get to see more on my screen. So the whole aesthetic on the journal, okay, the whole aesthetic on the screen is, so if you click the book, you go back and forwards. I don't think there was any other hyperlinks on this, but the book takes you back to the front page, or the front thing. So the candle, the flowers are all part of the aesthetic, the table in behind, and then you can just zoom your page up and down. So we've shown you this one, so you can see what's going on. Obviously, I haven't coloured it in. Once I colour this in, I'll replace this one with my coloured version, and my coloured version, my paper versions, will go into my paper journals as well, because it's something I've created. And then I have the spread that I did with you all on my video when I first talked about this. And in that one, I pulled Strength. The Hierophant and Empress both came out. I only wanted 1 card, but they both came out. And we have Breathwork. And I hadn't set an intention or cleared my space or anything when I did this. And I wasn't entirely sure that they were going to be messages of any use to me, but I decided, I think I said on the video, they felt like they were meant to be. Therefore, I kept them. And I've put the decks I've used, so you can see quite clearly. I've put an example here. I've put some of my thoughts down behind what I was thinking at that point in time, and the decks I've used for the spread. And that was just the 3-card like intuitive pull that I talked about doing. Or for those that want to do a 1-card, pick your deck and have fun with it. And then today I decided last minute that I actually wanted to do the soul card reading from Giselle. And then this is the soul card reading that you watched me do from my journal here. So these prompts from Mad Witch, and it was your main question, then with your first deck. Your second deck is to expand on your main question, and then your third deck is your oracle for that kind of wrap-up message. So I've had a go at that, and I haven't fully worked out how this fits into what I'm doing. Sorry, just give you a bit better view. Yes, I haven't quite worked out how it fits into what I'm up to yet. So I have put here that it's the Soul Path spread from Mad Witch for prompt 1 that I have used. I've written my cards down for each prompt. So for prompt question 1, I have the Empress, the Strength, and the Root Veg. See, I've got the Empress and the Strength. The Empress and the Strength both came out together on my first practice spread. And we've got 9 of Wands with Justice and Falling Leaves. And then for number 3, I've got the Hierophant, the Hanged Man, the Hierophant, the Knight of Wands and Whiskey. 2 Hierophants. The Hierophant came out on my practice spread. So you can see I was right, I think, in what I was thinking. I figured if I do this again, and if those cards are meant to come out, they're going to come out again, or I'm going to get a very similar message through different cards, because that often happens, doesn't it, when we're working with this. And then I have put here my prompt. So to best work with this energy, I need 2. And then I'll fill in the gap. And I've got my space here to do that with. So it's a bit of a complicated spread, I think, as I said. I haven't sat down. I still haven't. You think I might have done that with the power of TV and journaling. No, I haven't. I've literally just pasted them onto my journal, and then I'm here showing you what's going on. So with regards to where I am currently on my Soul Path spread, I mean, if we were wanting to discuss these cards with where I am currently on my Soul Path spread with the Empress, I mean, it feels like there's a need for some, she's nourishing, or is she being nourished? So there's a need for some kind of self-nourishment or some earthing, some grounding, maybe even some emotional release there, actually, with the tree and being sat down. And we have the Strength, of course, finding the balance between your inner strength and calm and that kind of lioness ability that we all have from the shadow self. So not being too overpowering and tapering that back. Many people describe the strength card as that need for honey, sweeten the pot in the way that we're talking to people or the way that they're talking to us. So depending on how it feels like it's fitting in. So I'm perhaps looking into tempering myself in order to better nourish myself. And then we have the kind of root veg there. And I have pulled these here. So I do have the cards here as well to show you. So the root veg is this one. And in those hidden places where most fear to go is where the most nourishment is waiting for you to behold. I swear I haven't read that because I can't read it on there. I haven't got my glasses. I hadn't pre-read that. But that just says everything I was saying, doesn't it? That's the magic of an oracle card. Sometimes if you're doing a complicated spread, is this can wrap up what these are trying to say. And that fascinates me no end. The synchronicity between those is probably why I like to pull more cards or multiple decks, because the fact that I got the same cards out of some of these decks here as a previous day for the same question, but done in a different manner, is quite fascinating. And the synchronicity there, you can't deny the synchronicity that comes with that. And there you have my Empress and Strength card. So this is the Bonestone, this is 78 Doors, and this is the Mabon Seasons of the Witch deck, which I am loving. So if we could expand a bit more on this one then, so the root vegetables, because the book that comes with this is really, really good. And we want card 33. I don't know if you're going to be able to read this. In those hidden places where most fear to go is where the most nourishment is waiting for you to behold. The keywords for this are digging for nourishment or gold, considering other resources, going where others might avoid. Our book's advice here. Your higher self chose this card because you need guidance on how to dig deeper for the resources and nourishment you need for your situation. Some of the world's most precious and desired resources, such diamonds and gold, truffles and agarwood, are very rare and expensive. Fragrance made from particular moulded wood are found in dirty, muddy places, and some of the most nourishing foods are found growing below ground. Root vegetables, such as carrots, beets, garlic, powerful superfoods known for their healing and restorative properties. Consider whether or not you have a complete understanding of your desires. You may need to consider enrolling in class to learn more information, or perhaps you have also pulled campfire. Oh, no, I haven't. Do your research. Review the fine print carefully when signing any contracts or before taking advantage of an opportunity. You might be surprised to find there are better options available. If you're feeling stuck, it may be time to think outside the box and look beyond what is immediately in front of you. What may seem like a dirty or even unsavory person or place could be just what you need. That is very cryptic. Reading the book hasn't helped clarify it. I had more clarification before I read the book. Interesting. With that prompt. So, prompt number 1. Prompt number 2. How do I unlock doors to aid my spiritual growth with the energies that are coming in for autumn and winter was the addition to that question, wasn't it? And we have the 9 of Wands from the Bonestone, Justice. Having a little spat there at the front door, aren't they? And then we have Falling Leaves. So let go of the things that weigh heavily on you. You deserve to take up space. So that's curious. So things that have been weighing heavily on me, perhaps, I don't know, matters that I feel are unfair or need addressing, need some balance in their situations, because let's face it, the world's a bit topsy-turvy right now, so there's plenty of things out there that could probably be balanced out better. And with the 9 of Wands, now this one I normally feel is a bit more about defense, but today, because we're here and we're doing a slightly bigger expansion of journaling, I'm going to see what the book says for this one. There's a big tomb, so I will let you enjoy the picture in front of you, and I will find my card. So we've got a few pages here, so bear with me. Of course, it's the Green Woman, for those who are not familiar with whom we're looking at. And her essence is defense, dedication, camouflage, stealth, resolve, inner strength, flexibility, adaptability, determination, patience, efficiency, discovery, resilience. So I'm feeling more like this is defense, resilience, feels like defense and resilience. Compromise, demand, strength of character, awareness and habit. Keeper of sacred forest for eons. Metamorphosis, beautiful maiden to a wild green woman. She's indistinguishable. She's completely camouflaged by her kingdom, where she lies in wait. In the reading. Time to take a defensive stance on tense situations. You may be urged to focus carefully, ensuring that you do not waste your energy unnecessarily, because the unfolding situation may take time. This is called a great inner strength of strength. Adaptability is yet another key aspect of this card. You may find that you are urged to think on your feet, modifying your approach constantly. Now, this can be a challenge for many of us to begin with, because that not being stable, having to find your feet, adapting constantly, can put a lot of us off our kilter. There is much patience in this card as there is action. Measured approach. Okay. When have you had cause to take a defensive stance is a prompt to the card. Let's come back to what we're looking at then. So we've got some kind of defensive stance, we've got some kind of contract and justice going on, and we've got some type of falling leaves. This is about unlocking the doors to age of spiritual growth. I'm beginning to feel like it's being true and honest and coming from the heart space when being challenged about things, so which could be anything. So because this is coming in for the autumn winter, so something challenging is coming. We're already aware there's a challenging aspect coming from the previous spread, so we know there's a challenging aspect coming. It's about being true to yourself and knowing how to defend yourself better in a situation when fairness is needed, because fairness comes on facts, and it may be that you haven't got all the facts that you need when you're being challenged. So viewpoints, standpoints, factuals rather than emotionals. And with our falling leaves, so letting go of things that weigh heavily on you. So are we defending the wrong things to prove a point, or are we defending the right things to prove a point? So I'm going to say that, going back to my coming from heart space, defending the right things to prove your point is the right way to go. However, being open to knowledge and information and change should it need to be, because you've actually been given the wrong information to work from to start with. That's not meaning you're flippity floppity or flippity gibbet. It means that actually you learn and adapt and expand on what you've got based on what you're given, right? Next. The final 3 cards on my spread. What lesson have I learned recently that has helped my soul path journey for the lessons that are coming in for autumn and winter? What's these ones, isn't it? Multiple cards. So the first card out is the Hierophant. So we know that. It came as a bit of a shock to me, but the Hierophant came out regardless. So here we have lessons, wisdom, knowledge, definitely in this card, most definitely ancestral lessons, I feel. Then to clarify this with what lesson do I need to learn from that Hierophant, we have perspective about what you think is coming with the Knight of Wands and how you move forwards, right? So perspective of what I think is coming and how I move forwards with it, which gives me my whiskey in a barrel. Life should be sipped slowly with intention, be patient as the vision reveals itself. So I can't rush into things like the Knight of Wands might do, full sphere to tread. I need to be a little bit more watch and wait, sit back, take my time, get that perspective on whatever it is that I'm learning a lesson for, or that I'm following the lesson of perhaps, or the indoctrine of whatever's being taught to me, or the aspect of what I'm being asked to do, and not to be too hasty in my next move. Because it all stems back to the Hierophant. Okay. Did that make sense to anyone? It's really weird, isn't it? When it's a personal spread, it makes more sense, I think, to you personally than it does to people that are watching in or looking in, which is why I very rarely do a personal spread for people, for you guys, because sometimes it's not helpful, but sometimes it is. But I'm very aware I've overcomplicated my own spread by doing multiple spreads within my spread, or prompts. Anyway, you could call it a challenge. I didn't want to call it a challenge because challenges mean I fail. That's why I called it the Bewitched seasonal spread. And then we had the prompt number 2, Magpie. 1 for sorrow, so what was causing me unnecessary woes. And I chose to do my very own favourite card combo here, which is the Tarot of Vampires, Tarot of the Vampires, Les Vampires Oracle, and Journey of a Lonely Soul. And then I have my 2 cards for affirmations, which was Friendship and Deserve. And I have gone ahead and, as you see here, I've typed in the cards, ready to break them down a little bit if I need to. Imposing Impediment being the one with the questions around the edges from the Lonely Souls. And then my affirmation cards from the Earth Angels deck are here. So this is my affirmation. So this is my affirmation to chase away my worries. And I could, if I wanted to, put a little mandala shape here, and I could maybe link words into the strings of my mandala, as I think I said in the video. Or I could doodle a mandala perhaps into one of my actual journals. And then I could... I think I've done one here on the Awakened Soul. So I could draw a mandala like that, and then I could just write my words into my mandala, into the circles, into the spaces as it goes around. And that could be the things I want to release into my mandala, so that so they're kind of kept away from my dreams, they're not keeping me awake at night. And that's the sort of thing I was thinking at the time of doing this. And when I suggested mandala specifically, but you let me know what you come up with. You might choose to cross stitch that out, because You may have some other ways, magical ways to get things out of you. So cross-stitching, ladders, as I say, there is no kind of sky's the limit with what you choose to do the purple prompts and incorporate purple prompts, and even down to how you incorporate your prompts for the spreads to answer your question for the prompt. That's up to you as well. The more creative, the better. So I read this as a whole usually. I don't read them as separates, but I've put them there. What I like to do is write 1 or 2 keywords to each card, and then I like to like an overall feeling that I get for it. So what is causing me unnecessary woes? We have the 7 of Grails, so that is cups, Grails. So 7 of Cups, so we have like choices, decisions, obviously emotions in there as well. I think I said at the first point, especially with the Queen of Cups here, and intuition. So perhaps my mind is running overtime, my emotions are running overtime, trying to work out, what decisions, choices are best, how to do things. Am I overthinking how I present myself, how I challenge other people? Because life is about challenge, not challenge in a bad way, challenge in good ways. Is the work itself too much? Am I, so many things that I could possibly drop into this one for what's causing me woes right now. But there's a lot running through my head. As you can see, total overthinker. With the Call of the Night. So where are the cards for this? So with our Call of the Night, daring, adventure, and excitement. Feels like I ought to go night clubbing, although we have that full moon breaking loose there in the background, don't we? So that's interesting. So it feels like it's something to use moon-wise. There's definitely the talking of using the moon energy here, isn't there? And of course, with my opposing impediment was the what alternative should I consider if I'm ignoring the warning of my heart for opposing impediment? So the fact that we've got heart, suffering, cups, moon, Call of the Night, adventure. And then we have it. And then, of course, my affirmation cards, which sort of tied it all back up again. In my head, I know what I'm thinking, but I can't get the words out and write it down yet. So I'm going to need to sit and ponder a bit more. With our laugh away my troubles because I deserve love and happiness, which I've already put in there. So that's not going to change. My affirmation won't change, but I just need to sum up what I'm thinking here for what's causing me woes. I think it's my own brain overthinking things. And then the final one that I've done for today is the Bewitched seasonal spread. Prompt number 3. What dead wood needs to be cut loose from my woodshed? And we have the 9 of Cups, which was a bit of a weird one really for what I need to cut loose, but that feels like that whole dream aspect, holding on to dreams that aren't actually going to happen, or unrealistic dreams, unfulfilled dreams, because it's causing a disconnect here. Look, so what's going on up here is disconnected from what's going on down here. Filling your head with needless thoughts, feelings, emotions, dreams. It's not always realistic, is it? So I'm feeling like that's what we got going on here for my cutting loose the dead wood. And Jester. So from my new deck, the Archeo's personal archetype cards. So we have the Jester. So I don't know anything about Jester. So let's find out about Jester. And for those who aren't aware, this is Nick Bantok's personal archetypes deck. Do I have a book for this? Oh yeah, I've already taken it out. Hopefully these are in alphabetical. J. Yes, so we've got a lovely coloured book for this. And then one and a bit pages. So let's just have a look at our Jester's attribute. The Jester may act like a fool, but he is far from being one, a philosopher, clown, an ironic sense of humour. He refuses to be misdirected by the whims of kings, unlike the puckish trickster who is dedicated to causing insightful mischief. The Jester takes a wider view of existence. His wit is at root profound. His eyes are open to both the grandeur and the futility of existence. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. He hops absurdly from one leg to the other. The Jester pulls gargoylesque faces, pretending to be simple-minded. He intentionally places himself at the bottom of the pecking order. Wearing his traditional uniform of motley, he clowns and squawks in foolish dialects, but beneath his buffoonery, the words he utters speak to truth. How else can he get away with mocking the esteemed assembly for their bloated pomp and selfish opinions? Okay, so that kind of that sort of reminds me of myself and my dry humour. Sarcasm, as many may call it. Sarcasm, some say the lowest form, some say the highest form of humour, but my dry humour. That's often where the truth sits, is in my dry humour when I'm talking to somebody. When the company is tired or dejected, the Jester will lift everyone with laughter, encouraging and cajoling them to see things with a lighter heart. And when chaos threatens and disillusion sets in, he introduces a fresh alternative perspective. But if you ask him directly for advice, he will reply with a wry wink. If you have come to a fork in the road, take it. The jester is an inverter of pictures, an anti-pedant, whose role is to name the sense within nonsense and muddy the waters with his clarity. Oh, I love it. Did anyone get any clarity from that? I know it's again, that's something that speaks to me internally. I can't externalize it right now, but internally, the clarity of the dreams that I don't need to be hanging on to, what I need to like cut loose and stop, wishy-washing. And this could actually be, the hopes of certain job roles in the fields within which I work. Ones that come up once in a blue moon, probably it's time to let them go and not worry about them rather than the hanging on to the what if. Because again, it's just no good for anyone because you live in limbo when you're hanging on to what if. So maybe that's what that is there. Maybe that is a limbo-esque statement. And the jester actually knows that it's just pointless at this point. Somebody's just having a laugh with us and taking us down the garden path. By letting go of this and this focus gives me space for this. And spending more time, more quality time, not being ready, preparing, studying, constantly learning will give me time that's quality to spend with other people around me rather than shutting myself away all the time. And that is it, isn't it? So with that, my journaling. So I release, I think I've just said it, and I make space for more love, romance, time with others, and good soul connections. So I'll type in my I release there. I will put that onto a piece of paper, and I will put that under the full moon, because I release under full moons. And if you choose to do them under new moons, that's brilliant. You carry on and do that. There's nothing wrong with either way. I've just noticed people work differently with moons. It's whatever you feel connected to. But that's how I shall work with it. And I will see you in the next one of these if I get there to make another one. As you can see, I haven't got any further pages to do yet. So I just need to get the rest of the prompts in and work out what we're up to. Right. As I have already asked, please do join in this prompt, #Bewitched seasonal spread. Tag me at Antoinette Tarot and Jewellery so I can see you. I will add you to my playlist. I've created a playlist. I'll pop it down in comments. I think you can even add yourself onto my playlist. So I think when you create your video, you can add to playlist because mine's public. I think you can add to it. I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. I will put into comments in the description box below the video about how I started this and where my thoughts were and all the decks that I may be using during this prompting. And with that will be the links to the PDFs. So if you want to get a download of these, you can do to have fun with. And as I said, so you can colour this in and pop it into your spread, or like I did, put it on the floor and start working your spread around it, and then you've got another one to go so you can see what's going on. You can print them off back to back. There's no rules. My only rule is that I ask that you share your creations and things. And there are tastier prompts in here, foods and bits and bobs to make. And again, if you choose not to do the cartomancy prompts, but you choose to do the purple prompts for the witchery, please still tag me in. Let us see what's going on, because I would love to see what people create and come up with. Like where I talked about the mandala for the affirmation or creating an affirmation. How do you create an affirmation? Do you just lay out cards and then read them to get your affirmation? Or do you pull an affirmation, an actual affirmation deck? Do you have an affirmators deck that you like to use? And how do you use it? This is where I want us all to teach and learn from each other and have fun and enjoy the season. And then we've got lots of videos to watch as we go through the darker months in the Northern Hemisphere. So till the next one, take care. Bye-bye.